Welcome, welcome, welcome. Another day here. Not the best day to go long, as you can clearly see. Pretty good downtrend today that reversed all of our gains from yesterday. Had kind of a slow zombie uptrend yesterday and a harder downtrend yesterday that, like I said, erased some of these gains and then some. We had a lot of smaller demand zones here that we sliced through. We'll start with the first one, 30-minute zone at 45.58, created yesterday. Tested once after it was created, and then nothing overnight there. A 1 hour zone right below that, right here. Let me fix this. 1 hour zone here at 45.48. Same thing, tested right after it was made, and then nothing overnight there. Below 30-minute demand zone at 45.28 and 30-minute/45-minute demand zone down here at 45.09, 45.10. That has bounced a couple times there, and it's got 4,500 psychological level, so we definitely have some buyers down here. On the supply side, we have a 30-minute supply zone from last week right here, 45.86. After that, not a whole lot. We have a 45-minute zone. This is also kind of like a 2 hour zone here at 46.20. So wasn't really worried about this. We needed a pretty good rip for 50 or 60 points to get up there. So just worried about this supply zone and this orange level, 45.85. Once again, acted as resistance a couple times a few months ago. Acted as support last week after we broke it. Support. And like I said yesterday, I didn't know if we were going to get up there, that it may act as resistance again. Sure enough, it did. Kind of acted as resistance overnight, and then later on during the day. Overnight highs here at 45.87. Overnight lows right before they open at 45.62. And let's go ahead and kick it off. All right, so for the first 30 minutes, pretty good. I mean, not a whole lot of selling going on. Had a pretty good rip from the overnight lows. Low selling, little consolidation here. Ended up at 45.88. So good 25, almost 30-point move in the first 30 minutes to this 30-minute supply zone. Just a lot of resistance up here. I mean, you have 4,600, kind of a psychological level. We're getting up there. We have this natural resistance key level, overnight highs here, this 30-minute supply zone. So it wouldn't have been a bad spot to take a short if you had an entry. As you can see, we did not get an entry. Not if you're waiting for confirmations. We like to wait for a lower high in the 5-minute chart. Didn't get that. Didn't even get a lower high in the 1-minute chart. This wasn't an organic move. The Federal Reserve came out and said something about inflation being worse than they expected. They've come out and said that before, so I don't know why we had such a reaction off of it. Because of that, I created a little bias in my head that since the news wasn't that bad, this was kind of an oversold move. We may reverse off of it, especially since we have a bunch of small little demand zones yesterday and had that zombie uptrend yesterday. That came back to bite me. I took a long position down here, which we'll get into, and took a loss for the day. That was my only trade. All right, anyway, so we reversed here, couldn't get an entry, just fell straight down, I don't know, about 30 points below overnight lows into this 30-minute demand zone. 5-minute consolidation here, didn't get a higher low 5-minute chart, and just kind of sliced right through it. So that one's gone. Found some more bids, some more buys here at the 1 hour zone at 45.48. Let's see. Tried to bounce. I should say, so after these sharp falls, especially when there's some type, there's a reason because of the fall, you're in a down, you're not guaranteed to be in a downtrend for the rest of the day, but treat it like, yes, sellers are in charge. I don't want to go long, honestly, unless we create new demand inside an old demand zone, which I know that, which is why I don't know why I took a long position. But anyway, so that's how you should treat it. No long positions after seeing this until we do create new demand, at least 15 minutes inside an old demand zone. First rule there. Second rule, after this first drop, really, it tends to consolidate for a little bit. I've seen it consolidate for 3 hours. I've seen it consolidate for 30 minutes. But treat this first consolidation as a supply zone. you want to wait for a lower high on at least a 5-minute time frame, and take a short off of that. And so that's what I was looking for. I tried to get a short off of here, but I just didn't like how we couldn't get up here. I wanted closer to the high here. Not really lower highs on the candle, yes, but I wanted more of a spike. Once it got down here, I saw this and I thought that was perfect. I just didn't get an entry. So this 5-minute candle was good volume wise. And just quickly sold off from there. I wanted to see maybe some low 5-minute buying like I always look for, which we actually did get right here, but at that point it's already back into this demand zone. It's back at basically the low of the day, and I feel like I'm chasing at that point. I'm not going to go ahead and take a short at the low of the day. That's just a recipe for disaster, and if I took that trade and it went south on me, it's one of those things I would just been kicking myself, like, better, don't do that. So I didn't take it. Would have worked out, but it is what it is. I'm glad I didn't take it. Just couldn't get a confirmation here, but that would have been the best trade of the day. If you do take this, risk this break right here. Tumbled down, couldn't make a higher low off of this demand zone, broke it, and we are now at the bottom of the zone basically. That should have been enough for me to invalidate it, and it actually was. But let's see. When that 1 hour zone was created, it also created a 2 hour zone that was a little bit lower, the basing candle. So I went ahead, and I don't really ever do this. It's not something I would recommend. I probably won't ever do it again. But I changed the zone. It's now a 2 hour zone, right? Because it still plays. I didn't love the basing candle because of the upper wick, but we got some pretty good continuation off of it. So I knew buyers may step in there. So we're still kind of far into the zone, but we're about halfway through instead of at the bottom. Tried to reverse from there. And rejected off of actually supply that was created right here. So let me go ahead and note that. We had a 45-minute supply zone that was created off of this consolidation and then fall off of that. So make an intraday supply, never a good sign for longs. All right, 45-minute. Was I looking for a short there? Yeah, kinda, but we didn't get any confirmation, and we rejected pretty quick. Buyers just disappeared. Like I said, I had a long bias. I was really waiting to see if I can get a higher low off of this and take a long position off of it. We came down, tumbled, sellers disappeared for a little bit, made a higher low, kind of a higher low. I usually wait for it to come up a little bit, come back and bounce, make a clear higher low. We have a higher low, we just couldn't get a good rip off of it. But I took this trade right here around 45.38. Felt forced at the time. Looks good for a little bit, and then just fell down pretty quick. Tumbled, creating some supply. Whiplash action. At that point, you don't know if it's creating supply or demand, but something's about to happen. Turns out it was more blood to the downside. Broke this level, and I stopped out right below the zone, about 45.31. And I'm glad I did because it fell another 25, 30 points all the way down to almost 4,500. And before we got a little bounce about 10 minutes before the day. So this 1 hour, 2 hour zone gone. Slice basically right through this 30-minute zone. No reason to take this. Didn't get a higher low on the 5-minute chart, right? See ya. And then once again, this little old faithful demand zone level has brought some bids again, some buyers. So for the third or fourth time, we're trying to bounce from it. This was about 10 minutes for the day, had some decent volume, and we ended right here about 45.22. So if you did get caught right here, it's not over for you. Luckily we found some buyers here. We'll see what tomorrow brings, but yeah, we created some pretty good supply today. We also, not going to draw this out, but created 30-minute supply here at 45.45. We have this 45-minute supply zone at 45.51. And above that, which is the biggest zone, we did create a 3 hour zone here at 45.67. So 3 zones created, never good for longs. Like I said, after these big news plays, you can tell, look, we have 50,000 contracts sold right here. Not all selling, of course, but, that's a heavy dip. That's a lot of selling. Once that happens, you you wait, if you're going to go long, you wait for new demand to form inside old demand, and then take a long position off of that if we can get a retest into that new demand zone. It's a lot, but so really off of these plays, I mean, you're looking for a short, don't fight the trend, and that's what, that would have been the best play today. Just don't fight the trend, play off of the intraday form supply zones. This would have been the best play of the day for me. So we'll see what happens overnight. Like I said, we'll see if we can get through these zones that were created today. We did it, yesterday. Yesterday we had all these small 30-minute, 45-minute, 1-hour demand zones that were created, and we just kind of fell right through it. So, it's definitely possible that we could do the same thing and just rip apart these supply zones that were formed today tomorrow. 4,500 has proven in this demand zone that buyers will come in here, and so far they have. So, we'll see if they can continue this little move tomorrow. We do have the Federal Reserve FOMC meeting at 1 p.m. Central Time. That usually brings a pretty big move in one direction or the other. So, we'll see if we can get a pretty good continuation play off of that, if it's like inside a demand zone or supply zone when the meeting kicks off. But until then, we'll see what the overnight session does, and we'll get a good recap of that tomorrow. All right, see you later.